So I've just been back, I saw the window, I looked at the video clip and I went back to the Blue Jay to shut it. I'm so glad because we keep getting rainstorms every 2 minutes, man. So welcome back to the channel, guys, and oh, would you get a look at this? Since last week's video, which was yesterday for me in wonderful Glencoe. Oh, it's the Bucky! I've been for a run, I've had a shower, and I've spent a lot of time in my van editing my videos. But you're finding me right now on the ever gorgeous Isle of Skye, and I'm on a little bit of a mission to photograph these mountains here. So the same thing has happened as last week's video when I was in Glencoe. I wasn't planning on photographing these mountains here. I'm en route to a completely different location for this evening's photo shoot, but I was driving on the main road here. You can probably see some cars whizzing past, and these mountains have completely seduced me. I just had to pull over. So even when I was back on the main road up there driving, one thought and one thought only entered my mind with regards to this photograph: foreground. So I've spent a good bit of time around here, tripping up all over the gaff through this horrible long grass, just seeing if I could find anything at all. And then I stumbled across this, what I can only describe as a selection of puddles. Now I'm very aware that that sounds absolutely naff, a selection of puddles, but take it from me, these are making for the perfect foreground to complement this mountain range. We've got a lot of drama, the rain keeps passing through, the clouds are incredible, and like I said, all we needed was a decent bit of foreground. You can see we're in a portrait orientation here because this image screams panorama. I'm taking about 5 or 6 images from left to right, and I'm just trying to incorporate all of these puddles down in the foreground, and they seem to match up perfectly with the mountain range. And what I mean by that, if I move you backwards a little bit, if you look, the puddles start here and the end just over there, perfectly in line with that mountain range from left to right. And I say they've matched up perfectly. I've done that deliberately. My tripod is in a very specific position so that the puddles can fit perfectly underneath that mountain range. And by the way, yes, I absolutely will be cloning out those telegraph poles. Oh man, it is wet and it's wild and I friggin' love it. This is what Scotland is all about. So I'm going to move on to another location to photograph, but first I want to make a little bit of food and get off this friggin' road. The traffic noise is doing my head in, and I want to have a little chat with you about something that's come up in my personal life, I guess. It's nothing bad, but just wanted to fill you in. So I don't know if it's going to be any good, the old broccoli and Stilton soup, but we'll get it on anyway and we'll see what it's like. So onto this thing that I wanted to talk about. It's not a big deal at all, but a lot of you will remember 2 years ago now, which is pretty mad, I mentioned that I had an upcoming eye operation and I've been called in to have my eye operation. So yeah, it was going to happen at some point. I think it had just been so long, like I said, a couple of years, that I'd kind of just forgotten about it, and now it's here. I feel a bit anxious, I suppose, about the operation. Not that anxious, but I've just got to get it done. I've just got to get it done, whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to fill you in and let you know that I'll be a little bit ahead with my videos, so it's not like I'm going to be out of action or anything like that. So really, I could have not mentioned it to you at all and you wouldn't have seen any difference. You wouldn't have known otherwise, which is exactly the way that I wanted it. All right, time for a bit of soup, I think. I'm just gonna eat it out of the saucepan. I can't be bothered putting this into a bowl and then I've got to wash the bowl and the saucepan. So it is what it is. Van life. This is what you do in van life, isn't it? You just live like a slob. I don't know. Taste test. They're becoming all too frequent on this channel, these taste tests. I'll tell you what, that's a 10 out of 10. That is absolutely amazing. I'm going to enjoy this from my saucepan.
We got time on our side. We're in a state of home. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every
So I'm currently walking down to what is one of Scotland's most photographed landscapes, potentially the most photographed landscape. I don't know how that could possibly be measured, but it's a popular one. It's currently 9:15 at night, so I'm trying to give myself the best opportunity for a little bit of solitude, but there's probably going to be some people here that have got the same idea as me. Either way, I've wanted to photograph this for ages. There's a lot of low-hanging mist off in the distance, which I don't think is ideal, but it all remains to be seen. What is going on there? That is absolutely unbelievable. Oh, my mind is blown. I'm all over the place. Oh man. Oh. It's unbelievably beautiful. Probably the most beautiful place I've been in the world. Or at the very least, this is rivaling some spots in New Zealand, man. This is crazy. So I'm pretty sure this little section, this little row of cascades is the classic photograph. These in the foreground, the ominous, conical, dome-shaped peak in the background, in the middle somewhere. That is ominous. I'll tell you what that is, that background. I don't know if this is going to come up on the camera. It is absolutely terrifying. It's so scary, man. So 1/6 of a second seems to be perfect for this moving water here. I'm having to bump my ISO up to about 300 and something, and that's at f11. It's so simple. It's one of those locations that's just out of this world photogenic. You cannot go too far wrong. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Keep exploring. So this is going to sound so daft to people that know this place, to people that have been here before, that have visited, that have photographed it, but I always thought that this location was kind of like one big flat river coming down from that mountain, and there was only one cascade that everybody went to. That could not be further from the truth. I've actually just been upstream for about, goodness me, half a mile. I got this photograph a bit further up, and honestly, it is just a complete and utter array of cascade after cascade. I'm just waiting for the peak of the mountain to emerge from the mist. I think that dome shape at the top is so important. Oh, that might be good timing there actually. We'll grab this shot. It's just protruding up from the mist. Now, I'm trying something a little bit different with this shot. You can see we're in a portrait orientation there. Polarizer on again, working an absolute charm. And we've just got a series of cascades. It feels like there's a lot more depth to this photograph. There's 2 or 3. One particular set of falls right down in front of the lens, really close. Extreme foreground, if you will, if you want to call it that. The only thing that's starting to suffer now a little bit are my settings, because it's getting quite dark. I need 1/6 of a second. That is the perfect shutter speed for these particular falls. but I'm having to be on ISO 1000, but it's absolutely fine. So I sent the drone up to try and capture this incredible scene in a different perspective. I decided to shoot it as a square crop, and this is how it came out. I still cannot quite believe what I have just witnessed and what I have just photographed. When your passion is landscapes and you see things like that, just see you later, head, gone. Head doesn't know what to do, doesn't know how to act. That was absolutely sensational. Right, it's 25 to 11. I need to get back to the friggin' van. So do not be fooled by the lovely sunshine, the patches of light and the calm conditions. The weather today is out of this world changeable. We're getting extreme wind gusts, heavy rain, and then we're getting calm spells like we're in now with nice sunshine. So should make for an interesting evening. And although there could be a real challenge to photographing, it's these exact conditions, these changeable conditions that I absolutely long for as a landscape photographer. And now I've come over the brow of this hill, this location is looking like it could be a 10 out of 10. We've got crashing waves, moving, fleeting patches of light, distant hills and islands, peninsulas, cliffs. I think we've got it all. I just wanted to film this moment whilst it's still raw. I'm completely taken by this place, man. I'm just in shock, speechless. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless, I don't know what to say. We've got waterfalls flying in to the sea from the cliffs. We've got seals bopping away down here in this little bay. An insane abundance of things to photograph, but I mean, I've not really thought about this at the minute. I've just stood here on the edge of this little cliff in complete and utter awe. But one thing I really did want to say whilst I get battered by these winds was just how privileged I am, you know, to be able to see things like this, to call this my job, to have places like this to myself. Just, you know, I thank you so much for your support, for watching my videos and whatnot. Like, this is it's just something else. Oh man. So the conditions are getting incredible now. They're getting better and better as that sun dips down in the sky. One of the first things I did after seeing that waterfall was head round the cliffs just to see if I could get it in any sort of composition, use it as a little bit of foreground maybe, but I don't know, it just wasn't quite working. So I've come round just to the other side of this little bay here, and the lights left us a little bit for now, but what we're losing in light, we are gaining in the most spectacular light rays. So you're joining me right now? The light is coming, it's spreading down from those light rays there. It's hitting the cliffs, it's hitting the waves. It's hitting the frigging foreground and the lot, ladies and gents. It's a kick-off. It's a kick-off and a half. Oh, I keep getting so terrified that my camera's going to fall over. I'll tell you what, I've got to concentrate on this shot because this is fleeting light if I've ever seen it. So that image that you've just seen there, I was bracketing like crazy, so I hope it came out all right. The dynamic range was pretty mad between that sky that was off in the background, the rays of light, just water flying up all over the gaff here, and the foreground, there was so much shadow, so fingers crossed I got it. But now I've actually found what I think is a much better composition. You can see down here, these kind of like grey, beigey coloured rocks almost down in the foreground just look absolutely unreal. I feel like there's a much better flow from foreground to midground to background with this image, and I've managed to get the waterfall in as well. What a treat. But there's no light. We've still got 1 hour's worth of light, so I can only hope that we get one more burst of light, because if so, this is the one. For all of the images that I've been taking here, I've just stuck the 14 to 30mm lens on, polarizer, 3-stop neutral density filter, and it's just been a classic case of trying a few different compositions and just trying a lot of different shutter speeds for all this water in the foreground. So much fun. I'm just, like I said, hoping that we get one more little bit of light on the cliffs in the foreground. I tell you what it is though, it's the uncertainty that keeps us so excited. Oh. I cannot believe that came true. There was a couple of moments there where I was thinking, not a chance are we going to get any light. But I was all right, I was happy with what I'd got. The conditions were still amazing, the location was still, well, what more needs to be said about that, man? Thank you so much for tuning in. My calendar, by the way, it's going to be on pre-order for another 24 hours as of the release of this video. So if you want to get it, you want to support me, then yeah, get it within the next 24 hours and you don't have to pay for postage and stuff. And please comment below, hit the like button, proper helps me out. Thank you for your support, guys. I appreciate you so much. See you on the next adventure. Out.